Good day, everyone. This is John here from 3D Create Tutorials, and welcome to my channel. In this actual tutorial, I'll be showing you how to create basically a horizontal and a vertical shape to connect to each other properly. This is a very complicated, method, to be honest, and it is not the easiest thing to figure out. It's a very if you just take your time with it, it's not too bad. There's some techniques that will help you drive the shape. So this tutorial will be kind of going over that. Here we go. I'm doing a voiceover on this one because I recorded it and I didn't record my sound for some reason. Anyway, technical difficulties. So here we go. So here's another example of one I just did the other day, kind of to create the forms. And a similar technique, exactly what I did here, just opposite curvature. So kind of keep in mind that you can create all kinds of different shapes when you're working this stuff. Okay, we're going to start from scratch. We deleted the cube, and we're actually going to go now to the actual snap to grid, make sure that's on, and we're going to bring this down to 0.5, just to give us a little bit more control. And we're going to start creating a center rectangle, and we're going to kind of control this in the right spot here. So I'm going to make sure I got this center snapped on with edge snap, and we're going to go from one edge to the other. So about right there. We're going to pull it over here to about there. And I like that shape there. That's good. And we can now go to actual point mode. We select these two separately from the other side. And we can hit the B key to kind of adjust things. Now all the controls should be down below. So take out the snap to grid so it controls a little bit smoother. Because otherwise this goes from edge to edge. And I'm going to pull this out now on the plus. And we're going to make this not too rounded, but more of a squarish round. And then the opposite side as well, to give it a different form, basically. So I'm going to pull this out now again on the plus and make this a lot more rounded. So the back end is going to be more rounded, and it just gives it a different, look to it. So there we go. So that's the first shape. And let's continue. Now I'm going to create an actual spline curve here to kind of give it a rotation. And I'm pulling this out to kind of form basically a rotated form. And this is what we're going to drive our handle to look like, something like that. Now I'm going to actually bring in a line here just to make sure the actual curve is within that line. And it's just better this way to push it past, so it's not going to go inward, it's going to go outward. So again, I'm just making sure it's past that line and hit OK. All right, cool. So I can adjust this now and kind of bring this back a little bit farther and hit OK. All right, so now that we got this actual line here, again, you can make it any shape you want, of course, but this is what I have so far. And I'm going to take this now, just kind of put this in the center. So I'm going to hit the G key and hit the F key. I'm going to select the very bottom of this and just get it to right where it actually hits the middle section of this shape. And I'm good with that. Hit OK. So with the actual, sweep tool, it has a way to control the turning of this curve, and you want to make sure that you got the right curve. If you're not happy with it, you can always bring one of these up here, and just to see what this is going to look like on the top. But it doesn't go from like bottom to top, and if you have a spread here, it won't really spread out like it should. It would be nice if that was working properly, but it doesn't really form to the actual second line. It should go from first line to second line type form, and it just kind of spreads, but it really doesn't do that. So for this tutorial, though, I'm just going to basically take this and actually rotate around this. So I'm going to go ahead and go sweep, select this line, and as simple as that, there we go. Hit OK. Okay, so now we're going to create the other shape, which is going the opposite way, which is going to be going from edge to edge, from that, basically on the x-axis, kind of. So we're going to go ahead and go again with the rectangle with the center connection, and we're going to go up a little bit higher here. Make sure your snaps is turned on, and we're going to pull this out. So a little bit wider than the existing one, so right about there. Good with that, so let go, and then now go back to the points, and again, let's go ahead and turn off the snap to grid. So that's turned off, and we're going to now rotate this in with the B key, and we're going to make it on the plus. And this is going to be more of a kind of a rectangle rounded shape. just like that. Cool. So now we got this shape. I'm just going to select the line, and I'm going to extrude this out. So I'm just not creating a solid. I'm creating a actual surface model, basically. So now I'm going to take this shape and actually move it over. I need to bring it backwards. So hit the G key and just move this backwards, just like that. Okay, cool. So basically, we're going to take these two shapes now, and we're going to connect them, basically. So the way to do that is we're going to first get rid of this line. We can either delete it or hide it, or both of these and delete it. And those now could be gone. Same with this, those extra lines that I created before. Anyway, we're going to go to the side view and kind of see how we want this to kind of cut into the shape. So if you look at the lines here, you've got the same amount of actual connections that you have on both of these shapes, which is perfectly what we needed. It's basically like one down the center and the two on the sides for the actual bevel or the fillet, and it just fits right. So I'm going to now bring a line up, and we're going to cut this two pieces in half. So let's go and select both of these shapes, and we're going to use the C key. Hit C key, and we're going to now select the line and hit OK. Now that we've done that, we're going to select these two shapes on the edge here and hit delete. All right, so now we got the actual surfaces that we needed, and this is just the easiest way to do this. So we can get rid of that line, and we're going to kind of look at the lines here of how we want this curvature to kind of connect to this. The way it's curving now is a little bit too much, so it won't really connect with that section on top. So we're going to bring this down a little bit more, the shape, with the G key. And we still got a little bit more to deal with here. I want to cut this off a little bit to help control a little bit better. So now I brought it down. I'm actually going to bring another line out. So let's go ahead and go line tool and just go and cut across this. And we're going to let go of this with right click and then G key and bring it down a little bit. This way we have this curvature that we can cut from there, because it gets kind of aggressive at the end. And this will help us kind of dial that down a little bit. So now that we got this shape, we're going to hit the C key. And again, we're going to cut this piece off. So C, select it. There we go. And then hit OK and then delete. So this way we have a really good way to kind of just combine these together. So select that and delete that as well. As you see where this is going, we're getting a curvature that kind of goes around. Now we got to do some things here. We need to add a separation line between the two sections here. Now we can just cut it with the C key, and that's fine. That's one way to do it. I personally prefer just to go with the Control R to actually put a new line in. So that way I don't have to try to mend everything back together when I'm trying to do all this extruding and stuff. It just works better for me. You can do it either way, but for now I'm just going to go with basically a line within this shape. So let's get going. So you can, like I said, you could do a line and cut it, which is one way to do it, and then you can connect to it. But it just, you have to remend everything back together again. It just takes a little bit of effort to do all that. So, all right, so I'm going to go with the Control R, and again, I selected the surface there, and I just kind of use that. Now, if it doesn't go the right direction, you hit the Tab key to get the right direction. So now when I've selected this next section here with the surface, I'm going to make sure the surface is selected. Select it, and then again, hit the Control R. And if it's not lining up the right direction, you hit the Tab key, and you just make sure you connect it that way. Again, select this surface here, Control R, and there we go. And continue all the way down. Control R, again, wrong direction, Tab, and there we go. Same with the bottom here. This is just a real easy way to get your spread here. So again, make sure it hits the point and let it go. This is just a real good way to control this edge to edge. And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Now on the opposite side, we're going to have a little bit more of a bunched, it's going to be a little tighter. So we're going to make sure that we do the same thing, but a little differently. We're going to just make it a little bit, closer up. So we're going to go here, Control R again, and put the line there. Again, if it's not the right direction, hit Tab. Same thing here, select it, Control R if you need to. Make sure you just hit the point and Tab if you need to, and then select the point. There we go. As you see, I'm just continuing to drive this through. So again, wrong direction, hit tab. And now we got the right way. Same thing, select it. Again, just hit each point, and there we go. Now we got the form. That's the easiest way to kind of help us control this. So now you see the edges. We're going to need to connect them properly. And we can get rid of a few things in the center section. So let's get started. So we're going to hit the F key and go to Bridge Curve. And we're going to select the very edge here and kind of just select it and go to the other line that we just created on the back side here, on the opposite side, just like that, close to the edge. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just select it there and then hit G1 on both of these, and then make sure you bring these either to 1 or 0, and as long as it hits the edge of those curves, basically. There we go. So now that we've gotten this curve, great. So let's go to the side, and we're good with that. Make sure you can put tension on it if you need to. I, however, am going to leave it just as is with 0. So go back to 0. And I'm going to stick with that for this form that I'm creating. But again, you can control it however you want. Hit OK. And we got the first edge. Now we're going to, since we got selected already, go ahead, E key, and we're going to move this outward and hit OK. And we can actually select that edge there and hide it. But first of all, we're just going to go to the other side here. So same thing, I'm going to go back to Bridge Curve. I'm going to select right on the bottom of this, kind of like in the center. Make sure it's not on the edge because it doesn't work right. So again, F key and Bridge Curve. So we're going to go from there to there. Again, this time I'm going to go here just to make sure I get that edge selected right there. So again, just don't hit that center point, and then we can bring it over and kind of control it and get close to that edge over here. And same thing, make sure it's along the edge. There we go. Now we have the right curvature. Again, bring it to 1 for that to connect. And the opposite one will go all the way up to 0. And again, we're going to extrude this as well. Hit OK first. Make sure it's G1. And yeah, it's looking really nice, the curve. Hit OK. And then now we can select it and extrude it with the E key outward. Perfect. Hit OK. Select the 2 lines. And now we can just hide those two. So hit H to hide. All right, so a couple things we could do here. We do not need those center sections because we're going to be connecting everything here to these center sections here. So what I would suggest is to actually just delete that out of your way so it's not in your way. Okay, so select these 2 here and just go ahead and hit the Shift X to delete them. There we go. So now we got those out of our way. They're kind of just in the way, basically. Okay, so now we're going to use the F key and actually use the bridge curve again. And we're going to select this second line here, just like we did before. It's right on the edge of both of these, kind of like over to the little side to the edge. And we're going to bring these back up and put G1 basically, and basically have all the edges connected just like that. And again, we're going to now select the line and we're going to hit the E key. And we're going to put this on the side view here so we can see what we're doing. F key here. So hit F. Select the actually bottom of that section here and pull it out. There we go. And then hit OK. So now we got 2 different sections here. Select the line again. And we could actually just hide that. And now we can just patch these together. So select this line, that line, and this line, and hit the Shift J to create the form. And we got to make sure that this is G1 from the leading edge to the other leading edge, G1, and the other one's to stay at G0. All right, so we got that covered. Let's go ahead and hit OK now and continue. All right, so now we're going to select the actual faces for this object and actually delete these 2. So go ahead and hit Shift X, and we'll do this other side as well, Shift X, and delete that. Turn it over to the other side. And again, we're going to hit the actual F key, bridge curve, and we're going to go from the bottom of this section all the way up to the top section here on the same line. And again, hit G1 on both of those and bring the perimeter back all the way to the edge like before. And again, that's pretty much it, and hit OK. So now we got the form. Again, we're going to take this line now and extrude it the other way. So again, E key, and we're going to hit the F key on the side here, and just go ahead and hit the point there, and then move it to the side. Again, we're going to select all four corners again, and we're going to hit the Shift J again. Okay, so once you actually create the shape, we're going to go with G1 on both actual upper and lower section. So make sure you select G1 on those, the other ones stay at G0. Now we select both of these again, the surface, and do a Shift X and delete that. Okay, we're going to continue the method here, and again, hit the F key, and we're going to connect these two sections together. So F key, bridge curve, and that's the next step. So go from here to the bottom to the top and connect to that edge just like before. There we go. Make sure it's right on that line. And again, hit G1, G1, and let's go and bring that actually all the way to the top with 1, and this one the other way with 1. All right, cool. So once we get that selected, go ahead and hit the E key again on the side, F key, hit that point, and move it to the side. All right, it gets kind of redundant after a while, but continue to make this happen. So go ahead and hide that piece. And now we got both sections here. So let's go ahead and go around and see if we can get an actual model that we can actually get that edge of the surface worked out. So all four corners, again, hit the actual Shift J. And then we're going to make sure that all three of these sections are G1, except for the outer piece itself, because it's all connected together. Okay, now we can select the surface and select this section here, and we're going to delete with Shift X. And again, we're going to make sure everything's connected, which it is, which is great. And now we can do this next section right there. So again, hit the F key, and we're going to use the actual bridge curve again. So right on the bottom there to the top here. Make sure it's along that line. And then we're going to bring this back to G1, G1. And again, we'll bring that all the way up to the top there with 1. And this one all the way to the other side with 0. And hit OK. So now we got that line again. Go to the side view, E key, and again, F key, and bring it out. This way you get a nice form. So go ahead and select the line now with the line selection and hide that. Okay, let's go ahead and select these four sections now. So select this line, this line, this one, and this one, and go ahead and Shift J again, and that will give you a nice form. Again, make sure all three of these are G1, not the one at the edge. And again, we're going to select the surface again, select it, Shift X to delete, and there we go. So we're getting closer. We just got now this other piece to do. All right, so this is going to be much harder because there's a very tight edge here. I'm going to go ahead and select these and show you kind of what I mean here. So when I select all these, I'm going to hit the Shift J again, and I'm going to make sure that we put everything at G1, except for the top is going to be a problem because, again, it's just too tight on that crease there. As you can see that little problem there that's causing that crease. We're going to go back and kind of undo this real quick and continue to form this out. So let's go ahead and take that away, and we're going to go ahead and cancel. So I'm now going to select this upper face here, and I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm just trying to get rid of some of the tightness there. So select this surface selection. So surface selection, select this, Shift X, we're going to get rid of that piece. We're going to try to connect these sections a little bit higher up to see if that solves the problem. Most likely it won't, but here we go. So I'm going to select all these, continue to drive this through, and the bottom here, and the side. And we're going to hit the Shift J again. And there we go. Now let's go and make sure that we connect with G1. If we don't, we're going to have edges that will be showing. So make sure to select each of these. And you can select the whole thing as G1. That would be easier, but anyway. See right here, G1, and now everything's smooth. But except for that, again, that crease is there. So we're going to take the top one and put it at G0, just to take away that crease. And we're going to reform this a little bit better. So take that to G0. And now that it's smooth there, it's still going to have a crease on the top line here, but we can work around that. All right, so we can go in and kind of get a little closer here and see what I mean. So let's take this show edges and let's go to the edge here. You see there's a crease there. That's something that won't work for us. So we want it nice and smooth. So to get around this, we're going to go back into line mode. Make sure we show edges, and we're going to start working this. So show edges, And we're going to take the surface of these two pieces on top and just basically delete them. So select the surface, select these two sections here, and do a Shift X to get rid of it. And there we go. So now let's go ahead and modify this. So again, bridge curve is what we're going to do on this edge to the other side, just to make it work. So right there, again, this G1 on both of these. And again, let's bring the parameters back. So they're exactly at 0, which is 1 on this one. And this one as well, go the other way, which is 0. And hit OK. Now we could actually extrude this out by hitting E key, go to the side view, F key to hit the point and move it out. Hit OK. Perfect. All right, so let's go and select this line with the line selection and hide it. All right, so here we go. Now let's go ahead and try to connect all this stuff, right? So select each of these sections, go around to this side, to that side. Again, hit the Shift J, and we're going to get our form. So now that we've got this, let's go make sure we get G1 on all these. We can select them all or just hit the bottom one for G1, as well as this one. Now we got a perfect smooth transition there. Perfect. All right, so hit OK, and now everything is smooth and proper. Now let's Shift X this piece here to get rid of it. Now we can go back to the mirrors section here and select the other side and mirror it and merge halves. Okay, so I just kind of want to see what this looks like when I take off show edges and see what we got here. So yeah, everything came out really smooth. Transitions worked out right. And again, you can make any form you want on top to connect to, just as long as you have a way to connect the lines together. Anyway, I hope you liked this tutorial, and thumbs up if you do, and subscribe so I can continue to deliver how-to tutorials with Plasticity. Thanks for joining me. Take care.